What genres are literary agents looking for in 2025? I analyzed 100 profiles to find out, and the results might surprise you. I combed through the latest updates on Manuscript Wishlist, a website used by literary agents and editors at traditional publishing houses to describe the books that they're looking for, and analyzed the data to determine the top 5 most in-demand fiction and nonfiction genres. The results were not what I expected at all. In fact, one of the genres I was certain would be in the top 5 didn't make the cut this year. At the end, I'll share how you can get access to my full data set, which includes links to the agent's query tracker and publisher's marketplace profiles. Full disclosure, trying to identify the top trending genres in the publishing industry is an imperfect and difficult task for a few reasons. First, every agent has their own subjective taste, and what they're looking for can change at any given moment. Second, agents don't always consistently update their genre preferences year over year. Some agents are always seeking the same genres, while others are constantly updating their profiles. And third, it's hard to locate hard data on agents' preferences, because there's no central source in the publishing industry where you can aggregate agents' preferred genres. Despite these challenges, I was curious to see if I would be able to uncover any genre trends, because I know this information can be helpful for authors who are hoping to get a traditional publishing deal this year. I conducted a similar analysis in 2023 and 2024 by scraping the posts tagged Manuscript Wishlist or MSWL on Twitter, but I wanted to take a different approach this year because fewer agents are using Twitter/X consistently, as some have moved to Threads, Blue Sky, or other platforms, or have gotten off social media entirely. Plus, the hashtag MSWL is also used by authors, so it's difficult to filter out just the post from agents. To make this year's data as accurate as possible, I used the Manuscript Wishlist website instead, which includes profiles from literary agents and editors at traditional publishers, where they often specify specific genres they're looking for, including subgenres or specific themes or tropes that they're especially interested in. On the website, I went to the Recently Updated tab and pulled the data from the 100 most recently updated profiles. I pasted the agent or editor's name, their company, and their desired fiction and nonfiction genres in a spreadsheet. Then I organized the data by making one long master list of every genre that was mentioned. Then I counted how many times each genre was mentioned across all 100 profiles. I made a table ranking each of the genres by the number of times it was mentioned, and voila, we got our top 5 genre lists. This data is admittedly limited and certainly doesn't reflect what all agents are looking for, but it gives us an interesting glimpse into the industry. Let's start with fiction, because there's one genre that clearly rose to the top, and it's not the one that I expected. The most popular fiction genre was young adult, with 56 mentions across the agent and editor profiles. This was the clear winner, outranking the second place genre by 7 selections. Over half of the agents and editors I researched were specifically seeking YA, which is fiction targeted to readers ages 12 to 18. So why is YA thriving in 2025? YA readers are highly engaged and devoted, and many YA novels have crossover appeal into adult audiences. There's more diversity in YA literature than ever before, with thriving subgenres like YA thrillers, YA sci-fi, YA fantasy, and YA romance. In their profiles, I noticed numerous agents mentioning these specific subgenres. Plus, YA books are often well-positioned to be adapted into film and TV, which expands their reach further. The second most popular fiction genre is one that might have flown under your radar. It's LGBTQ fiction. With 49 selections, nearly half of the agents and editors I researched noted interest in LGBTQ fiction, which suggests that they're seeking stories that reflect a range of voices, identities, and experiences. Reading some specific profiles on the Manuscript Wishlist site, I noticed that agents and editors mentioned looking for LGBTQ fiction that featured an LGBTQ protagonist and or was written by an author who identified as LGBTQ. The genre that took the 3rd place is one that I feel has grown from a more niche category into the mainstream. It's horror, which had 40 selections across the Manuscript Wishlist profiles. The so-called king of horror, Stephen King, has shown no signs of slowing down interest in the genre. In fact, last year, his short story collection, You Like It Darker, was the #1 pick in the horror category on Goodreads. Newer horror authors like Grady Hendrix are showing that there's a lot of reader appetite in this space. That's not to mention the popularity of horror films and TV shows like Nosferatu, Squid Game, and Yellow Jackets. Agents and editors mentioned interest in horror with a speculative angle, horror with social commentary, and gothic horror. The 4th and 5th place fiction genres both had 39 selections across the profiles and also happened to be some of my favorite genres to edit. Number 4 is commercial fiction, which is a broad category that encompasses books with a mass mainstream appeal. Commercial novels are most often discussed in contrast with literary novels, with commercial fiction prioritizing plot and entertainment, and literary fiction prioritizing craft and artistry. However, the distinctions between the two are not black and white, and most novels fall somewhere on the spectrum between commercial and literary. Commercial fiction could include mysteries and thrillers, romance, or book club picks. It makes sense that editors and agents are looking for this type of fiction because they attract big audiences, and traditional publishers are ultimately businesses interested in driving the most sales possible. Finally, the 5th most popular genre is one that speaks to a large proportion of readers. It's women's fiction. Women's fiction typically features a female protagonist and showcases some kind of personal journey or transformation. These novels tend to be very character-driven and deal with complex life challenges like navigating family issues, reckoning with one's identity, and handling tricky relationships. It's often stated that women account for the majority of book purchases and that women tend to read more fiction than men, which could be fueling the continued popularity of this genre. Book clubs like Reese's Book Club and Read with Jenna also often select women's fiction and drive significant sales. If your genre wasn't listed in the top 5, don't worry just yet, because now I want to talk about a few honorable mentions, which all had 36 votes and were just barely edged out of the top 5. Fantasy, romance, and thriller. With the boom in romantasy in recent years, I was admittedly super surprised that fantasy and romance didn't make the top 5. It might suggest that agents and editors feel they're seeing enough romance and fantasy in their inboxes and want to see more of other genres they're interested in. It was also interesting to me that horror beat out thriller because thriller has historically been a bigger genre. While fiction is my bread and butter, I also ran the numbers for the top 5 trending genres in nonfiction, and the results there surprised me as well. For nonfiction, by far, the top genre was pop culture with 31 selections. These are books that analyze cultural trends, often involving a huge amount of research and offering intriguing commentary. Number 2 for nonfiction was history with 24 selections. Agents and editors mentioned looking for untold or underexplored histories, or books that change our view of what's happened in the past. The 3rd, 4th, and 5th most popular nonfiction genres were all tied with 21 selections. Journalism, LGBTQ, and memoir. Long-form investigative journalism could include books that dive deep into politics, social issues, or exposés. LGBTQ nonfiction books could include memoirs, essay collections, or history books that explore LGBTQ experiences. And in memoir more generally, agents and editors mentioned looking for stories that explore authentic human experiences in raw, nuanced ways. So what do these genre trends mean for you as a writer who hopes to be published one day? If you're writing in one of these trending genres, that's great. You could see a boost in interest in your book this year. But remember that just because your genre might be popular doesn't mean you're guaranteed to get a literary agent's representation or a book deal. Your execution of the manuscript is still the most important thing, so focus on crafting the best book you possibly can. And if you're not writing in one of these trending genres, don't worry. I promise you will still find agents and editors looking for a book like yours. Ultimately, remember that trends in the publishing industry come and go, but incredible, powerful books will find their readers no matter what. If you want to explore the full dataset I used to conduct this research, click the link in the description below to download the spreadsheet totally for free. You'll see the complete list of agents and editors, their company, their query tracker link, their publisher's marketplace link, and their list of preferred fiction and nonfiction genres. I also have charts in there illustrating the rankings of the top trending genres. Thanks so much for watching and happy writing.